Here it is, Apple's 5th generation iPad mini. It's been 4 years since Apple upgraded the iPad mini, and most people thought that it was cycling out of existence. But the iPad mini is back, and guess what? It looks super familiar. This is like an iPad mini Retina, the first with the Retina display. It's thicker, it's heavier, but it's also still, recognizable. These two devices are recognizable as from the same design language. From the outside, not much has changed about the iPad mini. It's still got the aluminum back. The screen size still 7.9 inches. Thickness, it's still 6.1 millimeters. It's still 0.66 pounds. So it's light, it's thin, it feels great to hold, but it's not really redesigned. In fact, and this is probably for me the most surprising thing, the home button with Touch ID is unchanged. It's a physical button. It still moves, but it's got Touch ID integrated as it did in the last version, which works. If you want to see me lock it, still works really well, really fast. But there's no haptics in this device at all. That means there's also no 3D touch on the screen, so that's not a feature that they have. But they did upgrade the components, so this is a much more powerful iPad mini than ever before. It's running the A12 Bionic CPU. That's the same CPU that you would find in the iPhone XS. That means there's a lot of power to burn here on a screen that's larger. In fact, twice the amount of screen real estate that you would find on an iPhone XR. Apple did upgrade the camera a little bit. We've got an 8 megapixel on the back, a 7 megapixel FaceTime camera on the front. Here's some photos I took with the rear-facing camera, 8 megapixels. Not bad. This FaceTime camera's okay, I'll take a little picture of myself. That's not bad. That's not bad, right? 7 megapixels. It's got the screen flash built in, just like your iPhone. Not bad at all. Seriously, this is the only tablet I could do this with. That's how light and thin it is. I like that. It's really convenient if you can actually slip this in your pocketbook, your pocket, your lab coat, and pull it out and take photos, so at least maybe you're not holding the bigger iPad. Like all other iPads, the iPad mini now supports the Apple Pencil. This Apple Pencil is interesting because this is the last generation Apple Pencil. It costs $99. This is the new Apple Pencil. It's a little bit more expensive, like $129. This you can buy and use it with the iPad Pro. You cannot use it with this iPad mini. It has a touch-sensitive outside. It charges by being attached along this edge to the outside of your iPad. This Apple Pencil still charges with this. The A12 Bionic chip inside of this means this has tons of power. So it's got power enough for augmented reality games like this. Wonderscope. Hello. Hello. Wonder. Now it's strong enough to do real video editing, and I tend to use right now Adobe Premiere Rush CC. So you can see, no slowdown, no issues, video on top of video. Pretty much a full-blown video editing product that can run right on your iPad mini. So this becomes a no compromises tablet. So the iPad mini is now much more than just a content consumption device, although it's great for web browsing and email. The iPad mini remains an excellent content consuming device. Movies, games, action films. One of the things I really like about the iPad mini is the size, that it's so easy to hold. It's so easy to use for like augmented reality. Imagine a little kid could easily carry this around. It's a great drawing platform. It's big enough. It's big enough that, whoops. It's big enough that you can actually really just spend a lot of time getting into it, drawing. Even though this Apple Pencil is not upgraded, It does support all the same features. You know, it supports pressure, it supports angle. A couple other things about the iPad mini. The display does have True Tone, which means that you can, set it so it's less blue light at night, especially if you're using it as a reading device, so it won't keep you awake. That's kind of nice. Also, in addition to nano SIMs, inside of here is eSIM technology, which just means it's going to be super easy to switch carriers on this device. So what do you get? For $399, you get a 64 gigabyte iPad mini device. You can get up to 256 gigabytes, which is going to run you over $500. There's also both a Wi-Fi only version and an LTE version. The Pencil, of course, will cost you another $99. I do wish Apple had updated the design. There was an opportunity with all of the design changes we've seen on the iPhone and even with the iPad Pro to do something different with the iPad mini. Get rid of these big bezels, maybe get rid of the button, add Face ID. So Apple didn't choose to do any of those things. But they kept the price at $399. If you're looking for a cheaper iPad, you're going to look at what's called the Education iPad, which for education costs $299. For everyone else costs $329. But it doesn't have the same CPU. If you want the power, if you want this size, the size that can fit in almost any pocket, then you want the iPad mini, which honestly, it's a great tablet. Hey guys, if you like this video, don't forget to rate, review, and